Welcome to the DisOrient special screening and Q&A of Mu and the Vanishing World. This screening is in celebration of the World Refugee Day, which is June 20th, and it is also supported by the City of Eugene Human Rights Commission. So I'm thrilled to be here together with three people from the film. We have the two filmmakers, Jessica Leung and Paco Beltran. And we have Mu, who is the subject of the film. So I'm gonna jump right in and start asking questions. So Jessica and Paco, I know that you went to Thailand to relax after you finished a major project and you were on the Thai-Burma border and you came across Mu and other people, other stories there. I'm wondering if you could tell us what made you ultimately focus on Mu's story? What stood out about her and her story for you? And that was the story that you wanted to ultimately tell.
The thing is that we went to Thailand, as you said, because we always had like to have a base there. We were coming from India, and then we were traveling to the north, which we never did previously. And then we came across not only Mu, but at that time, the United Nations were carrying on a refugee plan that it was at the time the biggest in the world. So they were taking tens of thousands of people from the camps. So at the moment we arrived to Moose Village, people were debating like whether it was a good option for them after being like 20 years or more in the refugee camps, and that door opened for them. So we thought the situation was really amazing because the numbers were really big, and it was a deep change for these people. So then we came across Moon. Jessica can tell you probably about that.
Yeah, so coming across, I mean, so when we were walking actually in the Kayan village, and you know tried to speak with a few people, and we couldn't actually communicate very well with a couple of people, and then I heard Moo speaking a little English. Come around the corner, and I heard her, and so started approaching, and she sees Paco, and so she speaks, you know, her Spanish and says, you know, hola, guapo. And then so we just kind of got into a banter, like speaking a bit. And she was quite open and invited us over to her family house for lunch. So it was quite automatic and very direct how we connected with her. And then I think over time, like within the first couple of weeks, we realized, I mean, first of all, Moo and her whole family were very open, and we also understanding a little more each day about the culture. They were so willing to share with us, from you know reading the organs of the pig to just showing us everything step by step. And when we actually decided to hone the story down, because obviously there was so many branches of this story at the beginning, talking to rebel leaders, talking to people in the refugee camps, talking to organizations, and we just realized that Mu and her story and her character were going to be able to bring people closer to this powerful story, because there's so much information around it, and you can make like now, you know, 6-part series and on the History Channel, but
and fall short.
And fall short.
Yeah.
But we really just realized Mu herself was just I mean, just so endearing as and just so open to share it. So we went with that, and she was quite open to continue and do the project with us. So.
I don't know how Mu saw it.
Yeah, how did Mu?
Yeah, so Mu, tell us, do you remember meeting them and seeing them, and what was your impression?
Well, from me, as I'm a refugee in the village and with my culture, and any tourists, I will approach, and I'm pretty open to everyone's. But my main thing is I just need help and get out in freedom. This is my biggest thing. Anybody who can help me to hear out what I had to think, what I had to see, and doesn't matter will be only in the picture, will be only one time. I just want to get out, be freedom from my kids and from myself.
Yeah.
But I found that the two good people. The first I remember I was sit down in the school. At that time I was teachers, and Jessica's come in. I start to talk, and then here's Sparkle coming, and she told me like, hey, yeah, Sparkle is from Spain. I said, oh, okay, I speak a little bit Spain, and I start to talk to him with Spain, This is my first time met them, and yeah, they are very nice people, and after all, we know and we're happy. I think they're happy with me, but I'm so glad to meet them.
Yeah, that's great. And Jessica and Paco, the film is so beautiful, captivating, and intimate, really. And I think it's from the vantage point that you're telling the story from. So Mu is able to tell her story. Her community is able to tell their own story. And I'm sure that was a very conscious choice on your part. And maybe you can talk a little bit about the lens through which you wanted to tell this story.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Since we were working with, not only Mu, but her whole tribe about how they were seeing the possibility of moving, the diaspora opening up and them being spread out all over the world to, New Zealand, Finland, America, and Canada. And, we really wanted to honor their culture and really, understand, like, just give people like an inside look about just things that they were opening us up to us and to share that. So there was definitely, I think, an understanding that we wanted to honor and respect their culture and portray it how they would like to share it. And then with language, it was so important for us that Mu tells her own story. Because, if we have somebody over voiceover, speaking, it just felt like us. We always feel like those kind of documentaries are a little bit, they kind of detach you in a bit where you're outside looking in already. You're an observer. You're not actually able to be enveloped in what's really going on. So
the thing is that many times we were even filming without knowing what was going on because there were like conversations in Cayenne, and we were sometimes they looked interesting and there were nothing, and sometimes seemed nothing, and then things came out from that. So it's like, yeah, we were trying to be a fly in the wall there.
Yeah, that's what I was interested in about the translators, like, how did you even have translators? And yeah, that's amazing that you're filming and not understanding what's being said.
Yeah, there were moments. But like, for example, the one scene where all the women are sitting around the table and talking about how they feel about resettlement, and we didn't know exactly how they were responding.
Yeah, we can. They were meeting the same every day at the same time after work, and after they were having a beer there and talking about their things, and we just planted the idea. So why don't you talk about resettlement and how you feel about that? So we just let them talk, but had no idea what they were saying.
Yeah, we had people on our side where, that they did speak a little English, and they were also kind of working with us, that they could help direct, in Cayenne to say, okay, we're going to speak about this. And of course they have to translate it. But yeah, until we actually sat down, and I later have a few hours with somebody that can help me translate all the nuances, we didn't really know what we had.
Yeah, that was great, and it was a great scene. It was a great conversation that we got to sit in on.
Yeah, and Mu helped a lot also with the translations.
Yeah, I bet.
In fact, now she's become a professional.
Good for you, Mu. Mu, I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about the Kayan people, your tribe. Tell us a little bit about that. I see that you're dressed in your cultural clothing and the wire. Tell us about that. What does it feel like to wear the clothing from your tribe in America and in your situation now? Tell us about that.
Well, first, I'm very happy to tell my story. It's always, and especially with my culture. And but the beginning of the story from Kayan that I heard from my grandparents say, why do we have to wear the rain? Is the story that I got it from my grandparents. Say that we are women, we are Kayan tribe, we are from Myanmar in Burma country, but we are not Burmese, but we are different tribe. The tribe called Kayan, Kayan, Kayan. And my understand that according to that story, say that Kayan woman is beautiful and strong, and the other tribe they like to come into the valley and stealing Kayan women. And the man would say, hey, where's our woman go? And they can't say that woman belong to our tribe, this woman belong to our tribe. On that say, well, the Kayan man, they come in the ideas, kind of like, yeah, our woman is strong, beautiful. How about let's make them look different, and that we can recognize them who they are. And also, some people also say that let's dress them up like a dragons. And that's why they come out with a net on the yellow thing. That's the story that I got from. And also some of the women, they will have silver on the top of the head.
Mm-hmm.
Just they look at dragon teachers say that, you know, dragon have so many things on their hair and the neck and their body, and they're pretty strong animal. And our woman is strong woman too, and let's do that. And that's why they decide to go get the ring and put the women's. And at that time, they all require every girl at 5 years old, we start to have to wear the ring to not let our people disappear or someone to come and steal us. That's the story.
Yeah, so how does it feel for you today, dressed like you were home?
Yes, and I always love to wear the ring and to wear my culture. And but then in 2009, I came into United States, and of course, you know, we didn't bring everything. I didn't bring everything from my culture, clothes or stuff, you know, something is missing. And once in a while, when they have a ceremony, I still wear my culture and show up. And in Iowa, one time I went to the ceremony, and I'm the only one who still wear the ring and the clothes, and the other tribe will look at me like, we didn't know that Kayan still existed. We didn't know that they're in United States, you know, this pride, and they would come to me like, can we take a picture? Can we take a picture? You know, and then they start to come in. And I'm proud to be show my culture. And I know we still have a lot of Kayan in United States. We still have Kayan people in United States, but very small popular. And I would say about 500 to 1,000 people in United States. Yes, we are very small, but we are still out here.
Wow.
Yes,
I was just thinking about this, you know, in the movie, you see the women, another woman is wrapping the wire ring around. Yeah. So how do you do it when it's just yourself? Like you don't have your auntie or your mother to do it for you?
Well, it's kind of fade now.
Okay, so is it like the one at the
Yeah, you
the
just put
tourist one?
together. Yeah, this is
That's
the real
cool.
one. Take time. The real one you have to burn with a fire, at least a day, and then after that you let it cool. And now you have to have someone that know how to do this and with a strong hand to put on your neck. But for me, since I'm here by myself and nobody can help me, and I just asking the one that click together and take out easy.
That's great. That's great. So I also wanted to talk a little bit about if you could talk a little bit about your refugee experience. And there are some quotes that you have in the film that I thought were really interesting and poignant. One is you said, "In my culture, it's important to stay together and help each other. I hope I made the right decision." You know, you're saying this as you arrive in Kentucky, and it's kind of, you know, it's scary and there's a lot to take in. And then the other quote later on, which is so poignant, says, "I have two hearts fighting in my mind. If I become an American citizen, it's like I'm leaving my people behind. I fear they will vanish from my mind and never come back." Talk about that a little bit, about being here and away from a tribe and community of people.
Well, first, when I came in United States, it's just like I reborn to the new life. That is one thing. And then if I reborn to the new life, I still have an old memory. I still the same person that where I come from. And my culture is what we do, we stay together, we carry our culture, and we're helping each other. But now I came here and I don't have, especially with Kayan tribe, and just only me and my boy in Kentucky. And I know it's going to be disappear.
Mhm.
And now I'm going to start speak different language and start to learn in different cultures, all those kind of things. And it is hard for me to change to one life to another life, but it's very challenging. But I set up my mind that I can do it. I can do it. And the other thing is, when you came into United States after 5 years, you have a choice that whether you become an American or you don't have to apply, you know. But for me, if I apply to become an American citizen, I feel like I'm say, okay, I'm walk away from my people.
Mhm.
But some other people maybe not thinking like the way I am. But for me, I feel like it's not quite right.
Mhm. Mhm.
The sorry. The thing is, in let's pop out first.
Yeah, and I think that so
Okay,
the
we'll
reason I
go on.
asked is because I think it's a very common feeling among not only refugees but immigrants in general, you know, having to assimilate and be in this different country, and so much that you feel like you give up, but everybody has this yearning to belong to, especially the place where you're from, the place where you're understood and belong. It just is so strong. And so that's what makes being a refugee and an immigrant in general just so complicated and hard, because in a way it's to, I mean, what you got here was like a freedom and your independence, and you're able to make your own future and own choices. So that's a lot that you're gaining, and yet there's that the heart part still belongs to your tribe and your family. And yeah.
But I think Mu was also talking about the difference of in society, you know, like this kind of collaborative kind of society where like we were really amazed, because when Mu's father built another house, like all the village was working for that. And in 3 days, we just built a house. People were cooking. There was always food. And at the end, they made a party. They made some rituals and the house was done. You know, it's like everybody was working on that. And I remember that one guy asking me, like he was going to be resettled in the United States. And he came and told me, like, can I ask you something? Do they have bamboo in America? And I was, I don't think so. And they told me, so how they build the houses then? So it was like, so you understand the difference in the mindset of, and the heart of the shock when you arrive in the States. It's an individual culture and not really to do with that.
Can you talk a little bit about, you know, you said you landed in the midst of this whole resettlement thing, and the resettlement was going on, and just a lot has happened in Myanmar in these many years. And if you could talk a little bit about just how the refugees end up in the United States or all the other countries. It's not just the United States, the kind of that process, how that happens, and what's here on this end when they arrive, you know, how that works or doesn't work. And also maybe bring us into current times with Burma, what's happening. And because I think it's important for us to be aware of that.
Yes, back in 1995, we started running just like now, that the kids and women. Every moment I talk about this, it's hurt my feeling. I see the picture out there. The little girl, the little boy, stay home. They stay under the tree. I was there when I was 6 years old. Instead of drinking water, I drink the dirty water. It's bring me back to that memory. But when we came to Thailand, we're in the refugee. We don't have a lot of freedom. I want a freedom. And I want to give my son freedom. And that's why I fight through my life to take my son in here. But now, this civil war is not just happened yesterday. I know it's not going to end tomorrow. People are killing each other every day. Burmese militaries come into the village and destroy the whole village, burn it down. Woman gets raped, the kids, just everything is happening. Every more I see it, I want to bring attention and want everybody to aware. We are the human too. Why they're not looking close to this? I know, and I'm sure you guys look and see on the news every day. On the Facebook, on TikTok, on everything, and I use too in the Google. see that women, kids out there need help. Women out there need help, just like myself. I know I am aware that UN start to look into that, but they're not, how do I say, they talk about it, but they don't do anything yet. What are they waiting for? It just hurt me so bad that I see every day. I donation to my people every day. I work extra to pay, to send them money from the food, from the kid to eat, play to stay. But I know I cannot help I know my community, we do fundraising and we help, but sending a lot, but it's not going to be enough. We need people. We need international to come in and stop. This is not going to stop unless some people had to come and stop in this.
Yeah, I would love it if all of you could share with us that information about how we can help and do something. I think as an population, we see it on the news and are not sure what to do or how our small efforts could help. So if you could, maybe we can post it on our website or something, organizations that we could support that would bring direct support to the people who need it. And yeah.
Yes, I do have information, and I have a lot of pictures that if you guys want me to share the refugee, what's going on right now. I see a picture is terrible thing every day. And that's why I can't hold my tear because I know what's the pain.
Yeah, great.
I think one thing Moo and I were talking before is that our, not only the international community isn't responding, but the media is not also focusing, unless, we hear about Aung San Suu Kyi or something, but we really need people to raise their own consciousness and awareness and look for the information. I'll pass you some links of places that that are covering very in-depth what's going on. The Irrawaddy online newspaper is one. And again, it's true. We just, there's not enough consciousness around what is actually happening, and although it's been going on for decades,
yeah, it's a very complex issue, and democracy is just a part of it. Because, like, I mean, the ethnic problem is I would say is even a bigger one, because there are many ethnic groups in Myanmar that have been at war with the, I mean, not really at war, but attacked and decimated by the Burmese army. And if you talk about like democracy, the way we understand it, like with it would be more in Burma, in Yangon, but it doesn't reach the rest of the country, and the other groups. So at the end, they are organized in a different way. I mean, it would be a very long subject to talk about that, but it's really complex.
Yeah. Well, that was what was so great about your film, is that that's the power of film, actually, is that we get to step in to see the lives of other people, and film just fosters empathy for other human beings and humanity, and just to be aware of Mu and her tribe then suddenly connects us more strongly to this bigger international issue that's happening, that is easy to, with all the news feeds and everything, it's easy to just skip over these places that we don't know and haven't been to, but now we feel like we've been to, and we know, and it's a little more personal. So
Mhm.
yeah, I appreciate that. It's I also appreciate that this film, the way it just encourages our audience to broaden their scope of humanity, and how much we're all more alike than we're different, and being inspired by Mu's power and resilience and strength is, well, it's inspiring. So that's how it's been for us experiencing the film. I'm wondering, maybe winding up, if you all could talk about the journey of this film for you personally, and what has this journey been for you, and to make this film and be a part of it. Where are you now from the journey?
Well, I think we're forever changed.
Yeah,
Definitely
I'm sure.
having Mu in our life. And again, yeah, she was quite inspirational, somebody that connected us to a world that we didn't know anything about, and then
Right.
starting to understand what they had been going through all these decades already. Yeah, she's just given us, well, me, like a strength that whenever I think about this woman, really, because I know she's, as you said, this film shows us the strength of women and mothers, but also lets us as Americans maybe know also the interior, workings of the resettlement infrastructure in the
Yeah.
States and what that's about. So I feel like especially on this World Refugee Day screening, it's a way to kind of understand the nuts and bolts a little bit better, and also really understand the, now that they've opened up the numbers again, they're going to start accepting more refugees this year, and really to be open and aware, and to meet people probably in your own community, like Mu, and like many people that have endured so much, and that are also still suffering for what's going on in their home country still.
Mhm.
And I also would like to say, regarding with what Mu was saying, that and I think you were talking about Mu, but I'm not so sure. But correct me if I'm wrong. But I think she was talking more about solidarity than just because, I mean, at the end, the resettlement plan is a painful solution for people.
Yes.
It's not
Yes.
it's not a solution to the.
Yes.
And I think she was referring more like getting that help where it's needed, and having more information about that. So at some point, hopefully, we could avoid the resettlement, which is not a perfect solution.
Yeah. Thanks for clarifying that. Absolutely. It's solidarity. Yeah.
It was about that, Mo, or just making it up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And how about for you, Mu, being a part of this film, and Jessica and Paco, what's that been for you?
Well, they're really be patient with me and John, for sure.
As you are with us.
And thank you interested to look in my story and with my culture, and it's kind of I was a little bit surprised before. I didn't understand what's going on, but now I fully aware that Jessica Paco follow my story and my cultures, and it was
Because
like
you didn't know that we were making a movie, really, or?
very beginning, because I have a lot of tourists come to me, took a picture and film, and I don't know what they do, but after all, after the time go by, I start to understand, and I really it gave me a lot that I'm going to have this story the rest of my life, and I will pass these stories to my kids, hopefully grandkids one day, you know. But without this Jessica and Paco, I would never go to be here, and my story is going to be never going to be out here. And I feel is that they are the writer into my story and they keep in my memory. Sometimes they will bring back, say, hey, you know, remember Moo, this has happened to certain time, you know, and you wear this, you say this, you know, it's fully a surprise from me when that happens. And I really appreciate that you guys take time and to interested about my story. And I'm very happy with that. I start to know more about them, and I go to visit them one time, and I start to see around the world, like Spain, Buffalo, Spain, the Spain. Yeah, Barcelona.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Well,
she
Moo,
was when,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Sorry. No, go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say Moo knew us when we, you know, when Paco had dark brown hair.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He knew
That's
us when our
good.
hair was not white. Let's say.
Yeah, it's been a decade or so. Yeah.
Yeah, a decade.
Yeah, that's great.
The good and the bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you guys look all the same still to me. And today, you look the same.
Thank you, Mo.
Mo, I also, maybe you could share a little bit about where you are now, literally, where you're living now, and a little bit about your two sons. And I also want to add that I think what you bring to the United States is that idea that, you know, Paco was talking about, how in your tribe, the whole working together, you know, you're all together and you're all in it together. I think it's a concept and a lesson that is really important for the United States to start to really understand. You know, we have this whole individualism thing, and it doesn't always serve us that well. You know, because we are all in it together, especially when you talk about the climate and everything like that. We can't go it alone. So the examples of cultures that really take care of each other are examples that we need to see. And I think it sounds like you are working a little bit towards that, right? With where you are. Yeah. So tell us about that.
Well, right now I live in a small town. Popular in this town is about 185 people in Davis City, Iowa. It's very small town and very country. That's what I like about. And we have right now I live in the farms, and I have all kind of animal. I have chicken, dog, geese, and pony, and donkeys, all those kind of things. And my kids love it. And then first, they're not sure whether they want to go to the farm to stay in the country. But from me, I just don't want my kids to grow up in the city and tend to forget how is real life is. I just tried to, just wanted to understand and to be appreciate the life. And that's why I brought them in the farms. And we have, and first they're not sure whether they like it or not. But now John, he's 13 years old, he's teenagers, and he told me that he loved it. He actually liked a small school, small town, and he loved to stay in the farms. And we do some so many kind of things like farm stuff. We have pond, we go fishing, we ride pony, Of course, you know, donkey, we can't ride. The donkey want to go only when he want to go. We can control. And we have a small chicken, duck. Yes, we love it. But the main thing is also my biggest dream, that the one reason I move into the country is to rebuild the culture in the village in United States. My dream is I want to buy a big land, big property, and then I build a small house, small, you know, like different tribe from Myanmar and come and stay. And then I wanted to dress up their own traditional, like a freedoms, like myself. And back in Thailand, I feel like it's, I want to wear my traditional, and I also, on the meantime, want to be free and want to go wherever I want to go. And that's why I want to do that as well in United States. And then my other thing is I want to religious. We have a Kwan, and in the movie you see we cut in the tree and we build the Kwan is that our religious. We celebrate once a year. The Karenni tribe, they celebrate every year. And the problem with that is the Kwan we have to put on the ground the rest of the life. But since Karenni grew, they don't have a land, and they just have to go to the park and put temporary, like per hour, 2 hours, and they had to take down. And my dream is I'm going to own the land, and I'm going to give that to live in that Kwan until I die, or maybe I'm not on that place. That is my dream, and I want to bring back once a year to celebrate Kwan, and I want to bring all the different tribes and show our culture when we celebrate our religious, what we do, and I want to show to the young people, and I want the young people, I'm sure, I know that they probably don't know everything, but at least they're grown up and they see some. Yeah. And I want to continue, stay with the religion and cultures.
That's great. How much do your sons understand about their culture?
He don't understand anything, zero.
John remembers, though, definitely remembers going back to see
Thailand.
the tribe. Yeah.
Yeah, he do remember. He quite surprised. He said, "Mom, this is what you've grown up, you know," and he would be like, "This is how you do," and he surprised, but he don't understand everything. But he's a good boy. He asking question. Sometimes it's too much questions.
Yeah. And also, I didn't get to ask you, like, can you tell us a little bit about how your family is doing there? How is everybody doing there?
My family, my stepfather's, he's worried and scary every moment. And what's going to happen? What's going to happen? That is everyone's mind right now. Mm-hmm. But we also had to tell our kids that it's okay. And I know we will try, and we're not going to give up. Mm-hmm. We're going to fight back. And yes, and my mom, she's worried about from my father's Dino, and Dino is worried about more everyone's. And yes, on this moment it's not good or safe, or it's they're not hurt in them by physical, but in their mind, in their heart, it is in thinking everything.
Mm-hmm. Are you able to communicate with them in a regular way, or?
My mom's sometimes when she had to go certain place to call me because due to the internet.
Uh-huh.
Yes, and but usually what I do, I call one of my older sister in the city. And I would call my sister. My sister have to use the phone different way to communication with my mom, my dad, see how they are.
Uh-huh.
And yes, that's how communication.
Yeah. It's kind of amazing, and actually, that it can happen at all. I mean, it's just kind of amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, is there anything else that you wanted to add or say to our audience, or Jessica?
Oh, no, I really
Okay.
hope everybody enjoyed the film if they've seen it or if they are going to see it. I really appreciate people taking the time, especially nowadays, to watch
Yeah.
a film like this. And hopefully you are able to come to know another culture, another world, the resilience of this woman and her family, and really be more compassionate and open to the refugees that are around the world and that are coming into America now. So,
Yeah.
and really also to know what's going on in Burma. It's
Yeah.
all we can do is raise our consciousness and find out how we can help.
Yeah, thank you. Well, thank you all so much for being here with us, raising our consciousness and our hearts with your film, sharing your life with us, Mu, so openly and so with such sincerity, and sharing your strength with us, inspiring us. Thank you so much. And to our audience, I hope you share this film with your friends. Make sure that we spread the reach of this film and the information, and we'll post some information on social media and our website that you can look into more. I think that's it. So thank you so much. Thanks for
Thank
being
you.
with us.
Thank
Yeah.
you.